Good morning, Mr. T's plastic class. Hey, did you hear about the red ship that collided with the blue ship? I heard the whole crew was marooned. Oh, you get it? Maroon is a color that you get when you mix blue and red. There we go. And it's also a term for being left alone without a boat. Marooned. All right, make sure you turn to page 242, page 242 in your math journal. That's right, turn there right now. Open it up. Yep, get those pages flying through the air. Page 242. We're tackling two different things today. Mostly one is going to be a really easy, quick review, and then the second thing may be new. I don't know. We'll figure it out. But here we go. The first thing is figuring out dividing decimals, how we can make our lives a lot simpler through an easy step. So right here, we have 0.015 being divided by 0.005. The easy thing that we can do is that we can move the decimal place as long as we move the decimal the same amount for both. So here's how it works. We first want to move our decimal place on the inside. So whatever's on the inside, we're going to do that one first. So we can go 1, 2, 3. So we can make it 15. And here we go, okay, we have to do the same number. 1, 2, 3. So what this really means is 15 divided by 5. Plain and simple, 5 goes into 15 3 times. And so 3 would be our final answer, even for this one. And we don't have to convert it to decimals because we move the decimals on both sides. Again, think of it kind of like the equation things that we're doing. Whatever you do to one, you have to do to both. So you can look at that in your math journal. I think that's pretty easy explanation enough. Remember, just move the decimal the same number of times on both sides. If you have any questions, let me know. Make sure on your math journal you actually write what the new problem is going to look like, so like I did here, and then you put the solve. So the way I see it put, they're using the words equivalent problem, so this is the equivalent problem, and then they'll ask you to actually quotient. Quotient is your answer. Remember, a quotient is the answer that you get out of a division problem. All right, moving on to the next page. So this is what it should look like in your math journal. I'm cutting it off a little bit at the bottom, but we're talking about inequalities. An inequality is whenever we involve a greater than or less than number. So we'll just quickly review some of our symbols. So when I say that 10 is greater than 9, 7, I'm going to make a 7. So 10 is greater than 7. We could also say the opposite. 10 is less than 7. Remember, our muncher always, that tells us which direction we're going. 10 is less than 7. Oh, holy cow, I switched that around. My bad. 10 was greater than 7, that's correct. Remember, our muncher wants to be going after the bigger number. So if I did the same thing, I'd still want to do this, but I'm going to flip it around. 7 is less than 10. So it depends on the order that you have it. So this is the less than. Remember, we have to read it from left to right. My apologies. Not saying the same thing. 7 is less than 10. All right, and we also have something else. We can make the statement 7 is less than or equal to any number. So this equal to means that the number could be 7, but it also could be numbers less than 7. So the answer includes 7. That's the significant thing. Or we would write 6 is greater than or equal to a number. So all the numbers have to be less than 6, or it could be 6. So this means, again, we're including 6 in the answer, but the number must be smaller. While here, x, 7 could be answer, but the rest of the numbers need to be bigger. So it needs to be 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, going on for infinity. And also 7 could be the answer. So now we're looking at problems where we have our variable. Remember, x or any kind of letter is called our variable. And we have to figure out a solution for the inequality. So I'm going to go through some of the examples on the right here, and you probably want to write them in your math journal page as well. So for number 1, it says name 2 solutions of each inequality. So for A, it's saying 15 is greater than R. So what does that mean? What are some examples of numbers that we could plug in for R and have that be a true statement? Could we put in a number that is larger? No, because our muncher is moving towards the 15. It's pointing towards the 15. So we have to put numbers that are smaller. Can we include 15? No, because it does not have the underline mark. We're just talking about 15 is greater than R, not 7. So 7 could be an answer. I just put in 7 naturally. So I'm going to put in 7, and also I'm going to put in 3, because those are both less than. But remember, you're choosing something that is less than 15. All right, one more example. Let's look at C right below. It says T is greater than or equal to 56. So T must be bigger than 56. Can we include 56? We can. So I'm going to put 56 and 58 because that is bigger and the answer can include it. So be careful about how this is worded. Think about the numbers, and in your mind, actually put your number where the variable is and check to make sure that's correct. Is it actually true that 58 is greater than 56? Yes. All right. So I know I'm good. Okay? Now, here we are going to go down to number 2 at the bottom. Name 2 numbers that are not solutions of each inequality. So now we need to find numbers that make our problem incorrect. So let's look at A together. So we have 7 plus 3 times Q is greater than 40. So we have to put in a number where it makes that statement not true. So we have to do 2 numbers. So I'm going to plug in 2. Let's try 2. So if we do 7 plus 3, I'm going to put 2 there. So yeah, we have to do 7 plus 3 first. Remember PEMDAS. So this is a situation where we need to follow it. So I'm going to do my parentheses first. So I have 10, and then I multiply that by 2, and that equals 20. 20 is not greater than 40. So I know that 2 is an okay number. Does that process make sense to you? If so, we're going to move on. If not, please raise your hand and let me know. There is going to be some testing going on, or I may be helping the pre-algebra, so maybe you need to hold your question until I'm free, but I'm going to move on in the video. All right, next one that I want to talk about is number 4. We're going to talk about drawing a graph with an inequality. So here's the thing. What you want to do is when we're graphing an inequality, there's 2 things you need to keep in mind. We need to keep in mind about what our inequality is. That is greater than. But we also may have greater than or equal to. And here's how it works. When we're just dealing with this one, just a simple greater than, the circle that we put on the line is open. That means that answer can't be true. So, for example, with x is less than 5, I want to put my circle where 5 is on the number line. Okay? I do not close it in. I don't color it in because 5 is not a correct answer. Then we need to draw a line in the direction of all the numbers that could make that statement true. So x needs to be less than 5, so I need to be going left in my number line. So I'm going to color it in going this way. And you need to draw the arrow because it goes on for infinity. So all the numbers, 4 makes that statement true, -4 makes that statement true, but 5 does not. Now here's a situation. Let's say we were doing x is less than or equal to 5. In this situation, I would need to color in my mark. So for example, if I was doing that problem, I'll make it like that. X is less than or equal to 5. I would need to color in the dot. So when we're dealing with an inequality that has the equal to, we need to fill in our circle. If there is no equal to, do not fill in the circle. And remember, be careful about which direction you go. Plug in some numbers. Make sure you're doing it correctly. Take your time. Don't rush through this. And again, if you need help and you get stuck, you need to ask for help. I think I just repeated myself. Anyways, we're done here. Watch the video again if you need to. If you have a question, please wait patiently and raise your hand. Otherwise, I will see you in real life.